I'd like to take you through Civil Liberties in Review for 2011. Some of these trends have been going on a long time. In fact, 9/11 was a signal that things were going to change, that we were going to move into a different electronic environment. What I've called in some of my commentaries an electronic concentration camp. Well, that electronic concentration camp is continuing. It's getting stronger. The net has dropped on the country. The thing is what can we do to limit it? How can we be involved in a way that will make a difference? First of all, you have to become educated, and I've written a commentary on every one of these subjects I'm going to be talking about on our website at rutherford.org. You can go there and read about these commentaries and get educated on this, pass it down to your children, get involved in your school with your local city council. When you see these things happening, raise questions with your congressman. But you can do something, but you have to again, be educated, and that's the purpose of these vodcasts, is to give you a beginning, but then you must go read about the materials, get into the materials, understand them if you really want to make a difference in terms of freedom. We have moved into a total surveillance state. The marriage of government, corporations, the security industrial complex has created a situation that most average Americans can't understand and don't understand unless people like myself who spend their lives studying these issues pass the information on. The government is not going to do that. They're not going to tell you that we're listening in on your telephone calls, that we're doing secret spying on Americans, that we are disregarding the Constitution. One of the key issues we're facing, and it's a large Supreme Court case, which the Supreme Court has now heard and will be deciding it in the spring, is whether or not the government can actually put devices on your automobiles or your computer or whatever. In this particular case, the main issue is GPS devices, global positioning systems that, of course, can track you wherever you go. And the question is whether or not the government, if they think you're doing something wrong, or they want to find out if you're doing something wrong, or they just want to harass you, whether or not, without a search warrant, which the Fourth Amendment requires, actually track you, search you, and follow you. One thing the government wants to get control of is the internet, and internet surveillance, finding out what you're doing on the internet, what groups like the Rutherford Institute are doing on their websites. For example, there's the Stop Online Piracy Act, which seems innocent on its face, but when we researched that law, we found out that if you or your website, YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, happens to by mistake upload so-called pirated material, a movie, an album or whatever, or a song, that if the government wants to shut you down, it gives the United States Attorney General, without having to go to court, see a judge or whatever, completely shut down your website. That would be very, very troublesome if the government just decided, I'm not saying they would do this, but if they wanted to upload something on your website that was so-called copyrighted material, then they could come and shut you down. No American citizen's website should be shut down or taken off the internet without at least a trial, a judge, a lawyer, and that's what the government's proposing here with this particular law. The intrusive pat-downs and searches and body scanners are continuing in airports, and they're probably going to increase. The Rutherford Institute is involved in a number of key cases, which you can go and read about on our website. But the point is that these intrusive pat-downs, where women are complaining that the hands are touching a breast, men's testicles, people are objecting, rightly so, because these are very intrusive pat-downs. The body scanners themselves, again, I've written on that on our website, 20 times, up to 20 times more radiation you get at the dentist's office. And some TSA agents have actually come to us, and we're looking at cases where they don't want to even be close to the scanners. These are actual TSA agents that feel they're getting radiation, and they're not even standing inside the machines, just near the machines. This year, the FBI, in a manual, a so-called secret manual we haven't seen, is supposed to have been given new powers to come into your house, again without a search warrant, rifle through your materials, see what you're doing, and again, why the Fourth Amendment is so important, which guards against unreasonable searches and seizures. It doesn't allow the government to build a case against you if they're looking for anything they can. And that's exactly what these new FBI rules do. They will allow people to go into your attic and see if you have a t-shirt that might say, I hate the government, or I hate Obama, or I hate George Bush, whoever you don't like, and build a case that you are a terrorist. Very, very, very dangerous. The FBI is basically very, very rogue now, a rogue organization which I feel is out of control. 3 controversial provisions of the Patriot Act were again renewed for another 4 years, which means that the Patriot Act lives on. The Patriot Act gives the government the power to come into your home, again without a warrant, and download information off your computer. Sneak and peek searches where they can come in, see what they can find. Again, all this is, the prelude is terrorism, that you might be a terrorist. But the point is there aren't many terrorists in the United States. And when you give the government these immense powers, which basically, in my opinion, the Patriot Act takes the Bill of Rights, puts it in the toilet and flushes it, it is gone. The reason you don't give the government these kind of powers is because they become a secret police. And as we know in former regimes in other countries and in countries today, the secret police can be very, very dangerous and very, very anti-civil libertarian, and everybody becomes a suspect in those kind of environments. Another very important subject is the fact that drones are the guided missile surveillance devices that have been flying over foreign countries. The United States is the premier builder of drones in the world. And innocent citizens have died. Drones fly into funerals, kill people. And I heard it argued when I first saw drones, and then I saw that the drones were being made into smaller and smaller models. I said, sooner or later it's going to happen in the United States. And then under Janet Napolitano at Department of Homeland Security, the idea was they would just fly the borders, and now drones have been flying the borders. And now we find out that police departments throughout the United States in some areas are actually using drones to fly over heads of protesters. Eventually these drones will be equipped with some kind of weapons, sound cannons or whatever, to disperse crowds. So drones, flying surveillance devices over your head, it's coming to America. One ominous development, and it's been developing for at least the last 25 or 30 years, and that is equipping local police with military equipment. The Pentagon started under Ronald Reagan in the 1980s, loaning out and eventually giving police departments helicopters, assault vehicles, flak jackets, and helmets, all kinds of weapons that are used in military combat. So that when you see the average policeman these days, especially in SWAT team gear, they look like invading armies. The people who wrote our Constitution were greatly opposed to what they called standing armies, and that is full-time armies that stood on American soil. Up until, I'd say, beginning again with Ronald Reagan and handing out equipment to police, we did not have that. But now we do have a standing army. There are up to 50,000, at least 50,000 SWAT team raids across the country every year with police and military gear crashing through doors of American citizens. And about 25 to 30% of those are for marijuana, nonviolent kind of crimes. So it's gotten out of hand. So if this continues, it's my opinion that we do have the standing army that our so-called founding fathers objected to, and within 24 to 48 hours, in connection with the military, the government could go into martial law. These are just a few of the trends that I see coming down the pike. They were greatly enhanced in 2011. They moved forward. You can read more about this in my most recent commentary, 2011, A Civil Liberties Year in Review. Read this commentary and read the commentaries that this commentary was developed from that are on our website at rutherford.org. Get educated. As I said, you can make a difference. The Constitution was written for you and me, folks. The Bill of Rights was written for you and me. It gives us all of our rights, but we give up our rights if we don't know them. We give up our rights if we don't stand and fight for them. So you can make a difference, but it's up to you.